Right back with another video. It's like 6:29 a.m. I'm on my way to work right now. It's October 30th, and this month is almost over. It kind of shocks me because, like, time goes by so fast. And of course, I'm really tired and burnt out doing the schedule. I've made some. I don't know the last time I made a video. I think it was a few days ago. I made one, but I decided not to post it. I was pretty much covering my issues about my weird oddball ex-family, particularly Jim Culligan and his wife Tanya Culligan, with their weird stalking ways, and they're trying to force me into their religious belief system and their lifestyle. I never. First of all, I mentioned before, I never asked them. I would have never, ever asked them to help me with anything. When I first moved here back in 2000, my goal was just to, meet people. And that's what I was doing. I was pounding the pavement when I first moved here. And I looked for work. They may have had things, working underneath the surface, but I never asked for that. I never wanted that. I never wanted that. I needed to raise my son. And that's why I came here, because the cost of living was decent. And, I figured I could do it. I would have been much better off had these people never interfered with my life. And so I don't want any sort of dealings with these people at all. Last night I woke up and I was like, I was just like sick to my stomach. Because every day I wake up, because I need to get out of this job. I have to. I got to find something else. I know I need to. I feel like I'm running out of time. It's just everything about it. I get along with my boss, okay. It's just that I really want to forget everything that happened to me. It's extremely traumatizing on a daily basis to have to do this all the time. And I do everything I can to get myself together, to just do enough, to get myself to get up, to go to work in the morning, so I can just, deal with the day and then go home. But it's not something that I'm happy about. I don't feel happy doing what I'm doing, and I really need to go back and do something that I enjoy and that's better for me. And I need to be working with other people. I don't want to be isolated anymore, and this is not something that I would have done myself. So I want these people, obviously I've made several statements about it, about these people leaving me alone. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't have any respect for Jim Culligan or Tanya Culligan either. I don't. I really resent the fact that they did this behind my back, and it has caused division. I don't know how much involvement my mother had to do with this, but I'm cutting off everybody. If you feel as though you know something and you're keeping it from me, you've made your decision. You know where your allegiance is. You don't have any right to try to play the field. I mean, play field is that's a completely different meaning. What I'm just saying is, if your allegiance is with her, do not expect to have a relationship with me. That's just it. Because I feel as though if you would be, you should be on my side on this issue. Because I never asked for this. I never wanted to be a part of their religious belief. And in my last video that I deleted, I was talking about the differences, in denominations. And, I remember my father saying that he didn't like the church that my sister was going to. But he never I don't think he ever made any attempts to make them stop. I just figured he respected the fact that they were adults and they had the right to do whatever they wanted to do. But the problem with it is that, and they have the right to choose whatever church or denomination that they want to be in, but they don't have the right to enforce their beliefs on other people. And, I know that my brother-in-law resented me for many years, that I realize now. He resented me for many years for, choosing my own religious path, or having my own views. That had nothing to do with him. But that's not the action that you take. So this, to me, it is a hate crime. It's a hate crime because he's angry that I was able to find my own way and didn't rely on him. That had nothing to do with him. I never even considered him. I never had a close relationship with Jim Pelican. I just know that he was my sister's husband, that they moved off to Montrose, and they were out of sight, out of mind. I wished them well at the time, but I never realized that they wanted to kind of attach themselves to me. I do not approve of it. And I, as an adult, an American citizen, I have rights. And I choose not to have any sort of affiliation with them. I don't want any more of your jobs. I don't want you expecting me to convert to your religion. I will never convert to your religion. I will never. I am a believer, okay, but I don't believe in what you're doing. I don't believe in it. And that's my choice. I choose not to follow that. There are some Christians that believe, I mentioned, in the Trinity. Some people believe that the Trinity is like, God's Spirit, God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus are one. Some people believe that they're separate entities. Some people believe that, they're going to heaven right after they die. Some people believe that there's a holding period. There's so many different denominations and beliefs based upon Scripture, and it's mainly because people don't look at the Bible as a cohesive whole. They look at it as like they take one scripture and they say, "Oh, this is the way it's supposed to be," but they don't remember that there's other scriptures that talk more or give more explanation to the situations, to certain situations. Like some people think that all women are supposed to get married and have children, and although that's a very sweet sentiment, it's not for everybody. The Bible says to be fruitful and multiply. And it does say that. But we already know that not everybody is meant to do that. Like, for example, I mentioned the issue with the Andrea Yates and that other lady who ended up killing her kids. They were pressured. I know that Andrea Yates was influenced by fundamentalist beliefs that they're supposed to be fruitful, multiply. She had 5 boys, and it was too much for her. It was not something that she really needed in her life. And what ended up happening was she ended up abusing her kids, and she ended up killing them. Okay, and you'll see this a lot in a lot of these families where there's a lot of pressure to have kids. Women have these expectations being placed on them, and just because you have reproductive organs doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to do. And so the Bible also talks about how if it's better to be single for some people, okay, like for example, it's better for some people who are already single or widows, those they're included in this, widows or people who are already single, to stay single, okay? And the only time it says, you should be partnered is if you are somebody who is consumed with passion, meaning that you cannot control your passionate urges. So in that case, it's better to be married, okay? But if you are somebody who is cool with it, like I'm fine with it. I'm not somebody who's sitting here thinking about passion 24 hours a day. So if I'm dealing with it, then it's better for me to be single. And the people don't take that particular scripture into consideration, but they're constantly thinking about one particular scripture. And these are generally the denominations where men tend to dominate women. Not in a respectful way. What I mean, to dominate is never respectful. But, we do know that the Bible does say that men are usually in the head of the family, in biblical, in scripture, right? But that's no reason for a man to abuse a woman. He's supposed to treat her in a loving way. And some people use Bible scriptures and distort them and twist them around to abuse people. And if he wants to abuse his wife, then that's their choice. Okay, she made that decision, but I never did. That religion, that particular denomination, or that whatever, was never required. Like my family, my mother even said, I remember one time me and my mother had this conversation, and she was talking about how she didn't like the fact that my sister Tanya had these views that only her church was right. I remember her and me and my mother having this conversation. And I know my mom didn't like the fact that at one time that I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. I know she didn't like that about. She didn't like it, but she never put a stop to it. She just figured, she didn't like it. She made it known that she didn't like it. But I figured, you know what? I need to explore this for myself. She never said, I don't want you doing that. The only time she said, the only thing she put her foot down is that you can study with them all you want to, but you cannot dedicate yourself into that particular religion until you are of a certain age. So when I was 13, 14, I was studying with Jehovah's Witnesses all the way up to my 20s, okay? But I was not allowed to, by my mother, by my parents' instructions, to convert formally, meaning get baptized, be a member of a specific, an actual member of the religious group of Jehovah's Witnesses. That was different. But I could study, I could read the books as much as I wanted to, but by the time I was a certain age, I was able to make my own religious choices. My father never converted to Jim's religion. My mother, as far as I know now, maybe she might have in the last few years, who's to say? He could have put pressure tactics on my own mother to switch and force her into accepting their cults. I don't know, because I haven't spoken to my mother in a while. I haven't seen her since 2015. I will never see my mother again, because because this to me is something I can't forgive. I cannot forgive what my family did, and I will never forgive it. I will never. I'd rather never see my family again, because I cannot get over the abuse that these people doled out. And if my family, and there are innocent bystanders in this situation. Why? Because the way I look at it, you watched me suffer. You knew the solution. You knew that my sister Tanya had mental illness issues. You know that she's crazy. You know that she's sick. I don't agree with Jim Culligan's religious views, and yet you continue to put this bullshit in my life. I didn't ask for it. Because of the trauma is so great that I decided it's better for me to forget my family. I don't want to see them again, have anything to do with them, remember them, converse with them, anything. It's like 100% cut off, done. I don't want to deal with you anymore. It's terrible that somebody with selfish motives could have so much evil in their heart. Oh, hang on a second. So much evil in their heart and create so much pain in the life of a person. I just woke up last night I should say, with an anxiety attack, okay? Why? Because I cannot continue this routine for very much longer. I cannot do it. I do not want my family's help. I don't want them, calling into my employer, getting instruction. I don't want them sending their spies into my office. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it, okay? I'm here for as long as I can be, but I need to get out and find something else. I can't do this. And I don't want it from my family. I just don't. I know what they feel like, well, she's complaining about it. We got to figure it out. No, it's not your responsibility anymore, okay? I will figure something out on my own, but I don't want anybody ever thinking that they have any sort of decision in my life or they're going to do something for me. I never asked for it. Just get out of my life. Get out of my life already. All right? I feel, though, that you do have a responsibility to clean up your mess. You cleaned it up. You started this mess. You spread this shit throughout this entire town and elsewhere. So I do think you should do your best to try to clean it up. But at the same time, I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything from you. I don't want to think about you ever again. I mean, I'm having anxiety attacks because I'm tired of having to deal with this routine that I didn't ask for. Okay? It's a little too much on a person, okay? And it's not me being a drama queen. You can do your research on the effects of this sort of thing and what it does to a person. it's not good, okay? So I'm not being a drama queen. I'm not making it up. I'm not trying to gain sympathy. I am just saying, is that what you've caused, obviously is a felony for a reason, okay? It's extremely traumatizing to a person, what you've done. And I never asked for it. Like when I came up to this town, when I moved here, I was more than ready to make my life. You know what I mean? I had the energy. I remember sending out resumes, talking to people. I remember going into businesses. I was very proactive, and I was not afraid. I didn't have anxiety. I didn't have fear. I didn't have, any of this sort of stuff going on. Nothing. I did not have any sort of anxiety linked to looking for work. I was excited to look for work. I was happy to look for work. I was eager to look for work. All of these things. And then ever since, my sister and her bullshit stalking shit and her dumb accusations and her assumptions and Jim Culligan and all these people who don't belong. Again, they do not belong. I never asked for it. I don't want to do jobs for people behind the scenes. I don't. And the reason why is because anytime somebody's doing something like that to you, it's usually not good. Like, I would appreciate it. Like, if I knew someone, for example, like I had an Uncle Roger. Let's just say Uncle Roger had an Uncle Roger, and he said, I'm going to get you this job at this mining company. Make sure you do a good job, because I really want to make sure that, my reputation is on the line because I referred you here. So do a good job. And it would be understood. I'd be like, what, I'm going to make sure that, Uncle Roger looks good. I'm going to do the best job I possibly can. And there's a mutual agreement between the two of us. This behind the scenes shit doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't work. And the very fact that it's always supposed to be, kept from me is not good, because if it was honest and it was something of benefit to me, I would think that there's nothing wrong with it. Most people know who their references are. Most people do know who their references are. Like you'll ask a girl, how did you start working here? Oh, my uncle got me this job, blah, 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 blah. They know up front, okay? And they should know up front, okay? Because it's a mutual understanding. You know that, you want to make sure that your job, your work reflects positively on your reference. There's an agreement there. There's an agreement there. It is not a formal agreement, okay? But it's an agreement. You know that this person is putting their neck out for you. So you in turn do the best you can do to have a continue a positive work relationship with that person. Okay? Which is the way it's supposed to be done. I don't want anything from my family. I don't, okay? Because I know they're bullshit. I don't want you expecting me to change my religious views or, anything. I don't want that, okay? That's employment law. Those things should never be a stipulation in the first place, okay? And, it's just time for me to forget that you exist. But the only way I can really do that is to get my own job. I can't do this anymore. I can't, wake up in the middle of the night and with anxiety attacks and apnea, sleep apnea, fears, anxieties. I can't do it. I can't. I don't want to know any of the people that you know. I don't want to associate with the people that you know. I don't want any of it, and that's my choice, I'm not going to make any concessions or any agreements. Well, I'm going to do this because in exchange for this, I'll do this. There's no reason to make any exchanges or agreements. I'm not going to convert to your religion. I will never do that. I don't have any respect for it, okay? And I have every right to feel that way. So get out of my life. Do not think that you have any right to anything that I have. You don't, okay? I never asked to be a joint group and I'm not in a contract with you. I don't have a legal contract with Jim Culligan. I never signed anything. Okay, this man is trafficking a human being. He is a human trafficker. Same with my sister Tanya. I never agreed to this. All right? And so they want to try to my rights by contacting my previous employers and saying, well, don't vouch for her because we arranged it. Let me tell you something. Like I said, it's my labor. I worked under that job. And if you're going to turn around and say, well, we only gave you that job because we were, trying to play around with you or whatever, then you are basically that's definitely trafficking a person, and you're bringing a person into the workplace for reasons of harassment. So no matter how you slice it, I'm right on this one, and I will not relent. So please, get out of my life already. Also, I'm not trying to get anything major. I realize that these people screwed up my career. I totally realize that. Okay, I realize that, but I do have to have something that's somewhat in line with my skill level, and that makes sense. So I want something that I enjoy, and I do want to do something. Hopefully, I can find something local, because this driving down here all the time is taking its toll on me, especially under the anxiety conditions that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with too much anxiety to be driving a car every day. Okay, and the reason, and I can't feel relaxed, because anytime you deal with this sort of trauma, it's a lot on you. It just is. So I want to find something that's close by. I wanted to move out of the location for a while, but it's not possible. Most people want you to be moved there and then find a job. I don't have resources like that. So I have to figure out shit that these people have put me in. So the only choice I have is to stay here. I don't have the ability to move. So they really put me in a bind. And so, which I can live anywhere really, as long as I have adequate employment. And that's really the only thing I care about right now. My routine has to be somewhat decent. I have to be able to go to a job that I feel comfortable in, where people aren't being stupid. I want to work with competent people. That's my dream. Okay, to find a job where people are competent in their jobs. Okay, that they're not participating in this bullshit. Okay, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I had to say that because I woke up this morning with an anxiety attack. And I kept thinking, okay, I better go to work today. I got to go to work today. It cost me a lot of money to miss work. So I had to go to work. But really, I should be in bed right now, because this is wearing me down. This whole thought is wearing me down. I'm getting along fine with my boss. I am. And I get along with the people I work with. There's a cordial exchange there, and I'm fine with that. But, it's just the very fact that I don't feel secure. Okay? I don't feel secure. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? I don't want to have any more dealings with my family. Ever again. Okay? So do what you got to do. But I just don't want to deal with you anymore. I don't. And you can't expect me to feel any sort of sentimental feelings, because I don't. It's impossible to. I think I've been considering all the pain that you've caused me throughout the years, I think I've handled this the best way I possibly could. And I don't owe you that. I don't owe you, I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I'm saying this. I don't feel guilty. I don't, okay? But I do understand I'm dealing with narcissistic behavior, because when you're basically telling people that you're being abused, and then they crank up the abusive tactics like they've done in the past, that just goes to show you these people have absolutely no respect for any Christian values. They don't believe in Christ. They're just doing this because they know that using religion can convince people to be on their side, which I think is pathetic. Okay. But it's my right. I choose not to have any more dealings with my family. It's my right to make my own living, and it's my right to say, this is my experience. These are my experiences, okay? I've worked for these particular companies. It's my labor. It is my labor, okay? I realize management positions are not going to be offered to me, okay? And I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that it is. But you know what? I understand the employment sector is filled with all kinds of corruption, and people don't necessarily, you know, I understand the employment sector is not really what we always wanted it to be. You think that doing a good job and having certain skills are going to be enough. It's not enough, okay? There's a lot of political bullshit that goes on out there. I get it, okay? And it's very unfortunate, but I understand it. But whatever the case is, I do want something that still I at least enjoy. I'm never going to enjoy work fully ever 100% again. I know that. Okay, too much has changed in my life for me to ever really feel like, you know, a special connection to my work. And that's realistic, you know. And it's sad though, because, you know, I was a very enthusiastic person. I really enjoyed working in my life, but this has changed a lot for me. So anyway, so yeah, in my last video I was talking about hopefully I don't have time. Oh my gosh, I need to wrap this video up. But anyway, I've been talking for a minutes. But you know, I'm not bashing Christianity, and that's one thing I want people to understand. I'm not bashing Christianity. I just don't believe in their way of looking at things. And there's several Christians in this community that may not agree with everything that they agree with. Okay, I think that my family, my sister, ex-sister Tanya and her husband live in a very marginalized manner, and that Jim lets his ego make up a lot of the rules. And then some people like to use the Bible to justify evil, and this is very common. Okay, a lot of people do that. Okay, that's a very common tactic with cults and other people who like to persuade other people to follow them. They'll take certain things out of context and use it so that they convince people. But you know, do understand that no matter what you feel, whatever your religious belief is, you don't have the right to enforce or force your religious beliefs on other people. That is not the way Jesus did things. And also, we do have laws, okay? There's laws on the books that protect people from religious discrimination, and that's exactly what this is. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you have a great weekend. Rest of the week. And I'll be back with another video later. Bye.